because a lot of people think that esports success is just for the players, and it is not. There are a lot of people succeeding in esports alongside the players, helping them, being in other roles, and sometimes not even involved with them at all, their own streams, their own events, and so forth. So I'm very glad to have three excellent speakers doing very different things and involved in events and involved in esports. So I'll start by passing around the mic to all of you and then give each of you a chance to talk about who you are and what you do. So let me get you to introduce yourselves, and then we'll bring it back to Brandon to kick off, and we'll end up with questions. And Tygarlily, you're usually the person I throw to for moderator. So if you feel like throwing that role and just asking questions, please do. You're the best at that. All right, Brandon, let's do introduction.
I'm Brandon Pistner. I'm from Buffalo, New York originally. I relocated to Atlanta for Ghost Gaming. I am the professional player corraller, as Todd was referring to earlier. I basically work with talent and professional players, organize activations in Atlanta as well as events locally. So some pretty exciting stuff in the office and all that you guys saw. You watching, I didn't, but the people here saw it. I'm kind of spearheading of all that stuff.
Thanks, Brandon. I'm Jeanna Dawson. I launched a youth recreational esports league in Rockdale County. We are finishing up our first season. We had 2 varsity kids that are in a high school age and 7 middle schoolers playing all kinds of different games, and we're focused more on the educational piece and the community side of esports. We haven't dove into the competitive play yet, but they want to compete, but we're definitely focusing on education with health and wellness, game development, scholarships for college and things like that, and getting the parents educated on the esports industry as well.
I go by Tygarlily. It's my online call sign, is what I like to call myself. I'm a brand ambassador. So I love video games. It's been in my life for a while, but I'm not competitive in a sense where I can keep up. So I've ended up going down the brand ambassador and influencer route, where I still play games. I bring to light the passions, and even in the game development world, of things that are coming up. So I like to say I see myself where a lot of development is happening. So when we say that we're starting something up, like, I'm there, I want to be there, I want to help. And I've been in so many groups using Access Replay on board. They're the ones that really started to believe in me. And the best way to say is I got my experience through Access Replay, and then through DreamHack, GGDA, and even Skillshot. So I'm really glad to be here on stage with everybody, and since I'm moderator, I guess I'll pick a question for you guys. I just want to start with the most obvious question, which was, what inspired you to pick up your role? Because, for you, for example, with kids, do you have your own? Was it, is that how it started?
Yeah, absolutely. So I've been a gamer since my dad had an Intellivision at our house back in the day, and my brother started programming games on a Commodore 64 138, if you know what that is. And so I've been in the gaming world forever. I remember leaving Super Mario Brothers on all night because we couldn't save, and we didn't want to lose our where we were. And I now have 4 children of my own. My eldest got offered a scholarship at Milligan College to play, $30,000 to play Rocket League at Milligan College. Then COVID hit, and we weren't able to follow through with all of that. But his love of the sport and his diagnosis of autism at the age of 19 really helped inspire me, because the esports has been such an inclusive industry for him. When he's home and gaming, he's so alive. And when we go to conferences like PAX next week, I'm taking him to Boston. That's where he really just comes out of his shell, and he's a totally different person, and he's so included and inviting. This industry has just been great. So I started Eastside Esports for middle school and high school kids in my area to create that community for them. And we had one kid who's about 8 years old who came to me at the end of season 1 now and said, "This is so great. I actually get to game with other kids who I actually know. I know them in real life," and it's really been a really great experience for him.
Okay, so my story is not nearly as interesting as that. Basically, I played Xbox a lot, like in like middle school, high school with friends. I really liked gaming. I had some friends who went professional, and some are in the CDL, which is the professional Call of Duty league at this point. Like 3 or 4 of them. I was never good enough, so those who can't play coach, those who can't coach manage, right? So I quickly learned my place in the esports industry. I went to college for accounting. Quickly realized being a CPA wasn't what I wanted to do in life. It didn't sound that fun to me. No offense to anybody here has that background. So I quickly figured that out. I got a normal job at like a real estate development company, doing some analysis stuff. At that time, I started a merchandising company where I worked with a lot of like Instagram and Twitter influencers. That really took off for me, and I kind of left my day job to focus on that. And then I met Todd and Andrew, who's another one of the owners involved in Ghost, and they offered me a position, and I was like, sure, I'll do it, kind of like a part-time through COVID thing, and they offered me the opportunity for myself and Chris, who's sitting over there, to move down here and be more involved locally. And I mean, why not? I'm 25. I'll take some risks in life, right? So now I'm here with everybody, and it's great. It's been super fun so far, and way better than doing anything in the accounting world. So, but that's my story.
Yeah, that's the biggest change for a lot of us, is taking the leap into either full-time esports or full-time content creation. There's just so much of the struggle, and that was something I went through. I moved from Oregon to Georgia, and my quality of living, because in Oregon everything costs way more, so out here I was able to do more. And I decided to make the leap of faith. I decided to go full-time content creation, so that's the serious thing for a lot of us, and luckily going to events like this, this is the best suggestion I can make to anybody that's interested in starting in esports, is come to these events, meet people. You're going to find mentors that are amazing, like Andrew, like Todd, like Wes in the back with skulls. There's a lot of individuals here that want to see you succeed, and if they see you putting in the hard work, they'll put their faith in you, which is my biggest bit of advice. I shot for the moon is the best way to describe it as a streamer. Like, I had big goals for myself. I really wanted to be a Twitch streamer. I want to be partnered, top of the page, but even though I strove for that and I didn't make it, I still can, but I still haven't made it yet. I landed amongst the stars. I hit Facebook partnership. I have up to 8 partners in Atlanta alone that will back me up and support me in ways like give me contracts. I gotta eat too, but I'm a creative gamer. I have a very specific voice and brand, and having a bunch of people believe in me makes me very happy. Like, right now I actually have my first job. It's with Ant Online. They are new to the scene. They're a tech company, but we are now focusing on esports. So today is my first day actually mentioning the company, Ant Online, but my goal is to do what we did with Newegg, where we have a host and we can talk about the tech, we can talk about the esports, we can bring a bunch of people onto a podcast. And I never thought I would get here. I thought I would just be sitting at home playing video games all day, but there's just so much work behind the scenes that I've had to go through. And so that, that's the topic of the panel. It's just everybody else in the esports scene. So my next question, let me think of it. So I saw the back of your shirt. It says gamer mom.
I'm gamer mom.
This might go out to a lot of the parents in the crowd. As a gamer mom, what are your struggles with having kids in esports and running a group? What is the struggle for me? It was, I shot for the moon and I missed it, obviously. So
that is a good question. We're just finishing up season 1. I have my oldest son who's in esports and really loves it, and I support his lifestyle. I honor his schedule, and know that I make sure that he's getting what he needs. But it's different. It looks different. It's not a 9 to 5. So we definitely honor that in our household with him. And then with my youngers, playing games coming up, just supporting. So I have 4 kids, boy, girl, and the 2 younger ones, supporting them, but also setting boundaries for them. But not in, oh, you're playing too many games. We're not bringing that negative. And I talk to a lot of parents whose kids come over to our house, and I'm like, oh, your kid plays Roblox, right? Like, we can play Roblox. they said no Roblox in our house, and I said, okay, we'll honor that when your child's at our house, no Roblox, that's fine. So just making sure that you're keeping up with those boundaries with the kids, but also being super supportive and talking to the parents about it too. Like, hey, we own an esports league, we support gaming in our house, but we also educate the kids as well. So we're getting them educated in what is esports. When I first started marketing for Eastside Esports, I would go to like a fall festival and I'd walk up to a kid, totally stereotyping my demographic, but I'd go up and be like, hey, you like playing video games, right? And they're like, yeah. And I'm like, oh, we're doing an esports league here in Rockdale County. And they'd be wide-eyed, like, that's so exciting. All of a sudden the parents looking at me going, who are you and how have you gotten my child's attention? Like, they want to talk to you. And I tell the parent what it's all about, and that's how we've kind of grassroots gotten this going.
I don't have children.
Oh,
sorry. I need my own boundaries when it comes to gaming. That's my only feedback I have. Yeah, no Roblox in my household. Well, it's not very hard. It's like 8 feet of snow on the ground in Buffalo, 6 months a year, so Atlanta's beautiful. Yeah, no, but I don't know. I believe in like what the vision that Todd presented to me, and I think I came in November and I went to 2 of the schools that we built out. I did a panel at one of them, and just like I joke and saying talking to kids is hard, but I really enjoyed the feedback and like knowing that when I grew up, like my parents discouraged video games. Like I played baseball, volleyball, and bowled for a little bit, but I did a bunch of other things and I wasn't allowed to really play games. So being able to talk to kids or even like college age and like explain like, hey, like you can get a degree in marketing or a degree in accounting and still be in the gaming space. Like you don't have to just be the pro player, the next ninja. You can be whoever, and you can be Johnny off the street and get a job somewhere. Like and Todd does a great job of that with the Georgia Film Academy stuff and training people and onboard them into skill shot a lot of the time. So I believed in that, and I was like, I'm young and I got some time to make choices in life, and I think this is a really good choice. So I just did it. Why not?
Our 5-year goals. I feel like that's a great question. So, where you're at now, you got past the struggles. You're owning it. You're both bosses, honestly, from what I've heard so far. Where do you see you and your content or your brand or your groups? Where do you see yourselves in the next 5 years?
That's a really good question. I was actually talking to a potential corporate sponsor today for our team, and she looked at me and I got chills when she said it. She said, I could really see Eastside Esports going national. Like, people could know your name, know this league. And I was like, do you really think that could happen? Like, I'm not sure, but that would be really cool. Let's see what we can do. And I got the chill bumps, and I was like, gosh, I work full time. I'm raising 4 kids, and I'm running this league. And if you can't tell, I'm very passionate about it. I could talk about esports all day long. And my boss knows that this is happening too. And he's like, hey, in the next couple of years, if the league's really taking off and you need to step back on your duties, we could talk about that. So being honest and open with my current employer and just being open to the possibility that this could really be a big thing. And there's room in the industry for it too. Like, there's not, that was the one thing that was so encouraging to me when I started this. I was like, there is room for what I want to grow in the space where everything else is already blowing up. So I was excited about that.
I mean, honestly, I don't have a ton of like personal goals. I kind of like a day-by-day approach to life. I like the idea of like every day is a new day. Especially in esports, it's ever-changing, and like every day there's something new, something to research, something to learn about. But as far as like Ghost goes, I think like the 5-year plan would just be like getting more involved in the communities, really being like embedded and being like an Atlanta United or the Hawks, where it's almost like synonymous with Atlanta and the local kind of bars and restaurants and gaming lounges, whatever, and really representing the brand to the best of the capacity that I can do.
I would just love more events like this where everybody in the esports community just we're able to support each other, talk to each other, and be able to shake hands. Because when you go to these events, MomoCon, for example, is where I met Skillshot for the very first time. I was in a full Anna cosplay from Atlanta Reign because I love the team, and I can't wait for the next season to start up. But, that was the first time I saw the whole production, and it really just blew my mind because it was beautiful, but when you're there at the event, you can't actually talk to a mentor. You can't connect with anybody. You really have to wait until after or beforehand. So it's just really nice to have these type of meetings where we can get together, and this is your chance to like say hello and ask questions. So at any time, I'm going to just open it up while we're talking. So if you have a question to all three of us or one of us, just raise your hand and we can answer as we go forward. It gives us more things to answer because honestly, there's only so much we can talk about because, we love esports, and even with game development and up to the competitive play and helping kids. And the age differences of everything. I would say like my audience is definitely between the ages of 18 up to 45, but as I'm moving more into the gaming scene and like making content for Microsoft, for example, a lot of their clientele are children, right? They're like 6 to 7. So that's a whole new space for me to learn, and it's interesting to get to know people that are able to be around different age groups like that. So, and for you, do you like the youth?
Yes, I like the youth. I really enjoy working with kids. As a parent, some of you may agree with this, that it's easier to work with other people's kids than it is your own children. So I really enjoy working with the kids and listening to them. They'll interrupt you and tell you some random story. So I give them the space and the time to do that at the end of our evenings. We're doing virtual through Discord right now, but we do have a space that we're going to get into soon, which is really exciting. But at the end of our evening play, I just kind of open it up and be like, hey, what's going on in y'all's lives? Like, what do you want to talk about? And they're like, oh, I have a basketball game, or, something happened at school or whatever. So you just give them that space to tell you all those fun stories. But I love working with kids. I just love the esports industry and how inclusive it is, because I'm even getting people that are over the age of 18. Some of my kids are aging out of the varsity league. They're turning 18 and they're graduating from high school, and they want to keep playing. And so without going pro, maybe creating an amateur space for them as well. So I'm looking into opening up an 18 and up amateur league as well, just to kind of keep them involved in the community and keep them going. Do you like the youth?
I like the youth. Depends. Sometimes I have no kids of my own, as far as I'm aware. But no, it is great though. You see the impact you have. Like we have a lot of our YouTubers in our organization are the ages of like 18 through 26 usually. Like some of the guys that are moving here next month don't have driver's licenses and don't know how, but they sit in their bedrooms and make hundreds of thousands of dollars playing video games, right? So it's like it gives me like a Big Brother vibe where I can kind of like help, like, hey, like, you gotta be an adult, like you gotta get up and shower, like basic activities. Like it seems basic, but it's not. And the other aspect of it is like a lot of these guys who are 18, 19, 20 have fans who are, like you're saying, 6, 7, 8, 10 years old, and we have Discord events and things like that, which Todd is very persistent about us doing, and it's great. And we get a lot of younger people in there playing with our creators, and it's like they don't realize how valuable they are to these younger kids. They know they watch their videos, but they don't realize the impact they have. So when I can sit in a Discord and play Fortnite with a group of kids, and we can see them interacting with their favorite YouTuber for a little bit, it's like it really makes us real, like full circle and wholesome. And I do like the youth. Yeah.
These kids know who these people are too. Like we're walking around a conference and my kid will see someone and they're like, that's so and so, and I'm like, who? But they know who this person is, and they know all about them, and they know they've watched all their videos multiple times. And kids used to say, oh, when I grow up I want to be president, or I want to be a veterinarian, and now they're like, I want to be a YouTuber, I want to be a streamer, I want to be a gamer. And you used to not hear that, and now that's what's out there now. So it's really cool.
And my advice is, if you do hear that from your kids, it's totally okay. They won't be a doctor, they won't be a police officer, but there are jobs that have like really great salaries for these positions. And if they want to be a YouTuber, what they're trying to say is they want to get into film. So you really need to listen to your children and see their personalities. They want to be a gamer, they want to be a streamer, but you have to look behind the scenes on how to get them there. So I wouldn't squander the dreams. I would look into how exactly open the doors for them. So
they want to be a vet, but they don't realize what all that means either.
Right, I was going to be a marine biologist, and then I was going to work in marketing, and then I fell back on information technology. So I went from IT to streaming, and now I'm a brand ambassador. But it was a long, long lesson, and a lot of our kids these days now have the tools to help them get there. And that's not just our mentors, but online as well. You have your collegiate system set up so that way we're able to progress forward and all that. So it's really more or less figuring out what your children are into. Are they creative? Are they leaders? You know, that leads into community management and all that. So if you were to meet someone that was interested in what you were doing, like for me, for example, how to be a brand ambassador, what advice would you provide? You know, if a mom came up to you as like, my kids are interested, or someone came up to you as like, I want to be a content creator, I want to get into community management, like, Ghost Esports is so cool. What would be your advice to anybody that just approached you and asked that question?
So if a parent came up and said, my kid really wants to play video games like professionally, I would plug them into the resources that I know exist and say, then you need to deep dive into this as much as you would any other interest that your child had. Your kid wants to play soccer, and there's opportunities for high school soccer, collegiate soccer, scholarship soccer, professional soccer. Same with esports. Get plugged in, talk to the people, and learn as much about it, and let them learn as much about it. And if it keeps their interest for the long run, and they're still into it, and they still want to play collegiate esports just the way the kid wanted to do collegiate soccer, be there for them. Go to the games, be supportive, and just learn as much as you can about it, so that you can help your kid. You know, same as you would go out in the field and throw the ball around. I had my son build me a gaming computer so that I could get online and play games with him. I'm not very good. I'm gamer mom, but I don't play a lot of video games. But I have a computer and I can log in and I can play, and we're on Discord and we're on Twitch and we're talking to each other and we're playing. You know, he's upstairs and I'm downstairs and we're doing the thing. So just get as involved as you can and figure out what it's all about.
That's good advice. I'd probably recommend the same concept, but not the parent doing it, the actual person looking to get a job. Like, it's like literally I dreamed of getting a paid job in esports. I worked a lot for free for probably 5 or 6 years. Like, it was a grind. Like, we went to, I don't know, probably 10 events in my lifetime, like PAX East, Call of Duty events, whatever. And it's literally just making friendships, interacting, like, sometimes taking the not paid job leads to $1,000 a month and and then you have a full-time career, and there's never really like boundaries to that, right? You guys gotta really dive into it, learn what you want to learn about, and just be passionate about it. And esports is a grind. Like, it's definitely, like, if you could choose a career, it's definitely the one you put the most hours in. So if you're not willing to put the hours in, it's going to be hard for you. But if you do, like I always say, like, there's always results at the end of it to some extent if you just put the hours in, make the right connections, talk to the right people, and just constantly go at it and care about it. But that's pretty much, college helps too a little bit, but
Yeah, that cliche, you never work a day in your life when you're having fun with what you do. I never thought in my wildest dreams that I would own a youth recreational esports league, but I love it, and I could literally talk about it all day. And I work my 9-to-5 job, which isn't really 9 to 5. Got a kind of cool job, but I work my day job and I get a great paycheck, and then I get to do this for fun, and it's the most amazing thing in the world.
I love to hear that. I think for me, the biggest advice I would give anybody is, first off, if you're going to try to be a social media manager, brand ambassador, or content creator, is to stay in your own lane and not get discouraged by anyone else on the internet doing what they're doing. That has nothing to do with you unless you're collabing with them. But one of the things that I think really hinders a content creator is making their own, like their blocks in their own mind, where you would see somebody else just excelling at what you're trying to do. Don't let that discourage you. Just keep doing it, and then move on to your next project. You might end up working for 5 years for free. I spent about 3 years doing a lot of volunteer work myself, but what it does is it gives you experience, and anybody out there that is watching you will see that, and as you grow, they will see that, and they might even hire you down the line. So stay in your own lane, don't get discouraged, and just keep pumping out content, and always be learning. I like that one. Always be learning. So is there any questions from the crowd before I ask? Oh, we have one. Yes, sir.
That's great.
But for each one of you, especially in an industry that is developing as you're participating in it, a common theme for many people that are, looking to create a career out of it is imposter syndrome. And I wanted to know how each one of you addressed imposter syndrome as it came to you in your path, in your careers.
That's a great question. Yes, I was working on it. But what the question was, how do you deal with imposter syndrome as you continue down your line of work? I went through that today, actually, trying to just go over just my resume or my experience so I'd have something to talk about with everybody. But, I look back the past 3 years and I can't believe half the work I've done. I can't believe half the people I've got to meet. I've got to meet with work with Harris Heller. Bradley, he's RNGesus. He's an emo on Twitch. It's crazy the amount of things that you do while you're working. You don't realize it until later that you've been doing something really amazing, and you should own that. Don't let the imposter syndrome kick in, and especially if you hit that 3-year mark of doing whatever it is you're working on, like, that's experience. You're now like a seasoned veteran in it. You're owning it.
Yeah, it's a really great question. I could see how someone looking in could be like, how is this lady running a youth esports league? She's never, done anything like that before. But I do consider myself like a subject matter expert. And if I don't know the answer, I know how to find resources to find the answer. And no, I've never owned an esports league before, but I think I know enough about the industry to get a business going. And I've gotten kids signed up, and the parents have been really happy with what we've been doing. And the community is really supportive. The Board of Commissioners had to approve my vendor contract with the Parks and Recreation in Rockdale County. So I've gotten some pretty cool people behind me saying she knows what she's doing. Go do business with her.
I don't think I've ever suffered from imposter syndrome because I don't really reflect and think about what I've done or really look back because it kind of scares me to so much time. I'm being honest, it's so much time passes so quickly. I kind of get a little anxiety about it. So I can't say I've ever looked back and been like, wow, I'm glad I did this or that. I kind of just every day, like I said, every day is kind of a new day. I mean, that might not be the answer everyone wants to hear, but it's what it is. I just keep pushing forward, and every day is a new day. And the past situations, whatever you succeeded or did well, it doesn't really, I don't know, it doesn't impact me moving forward too much. I kind of just looking forward.
You had a question as well? I think it's going to grow exponentially, at least within the next 5 years. Just moving to Atlanta, especially if we continue to grow this space, this hub, it's going to explode. And in the next 10 years, Atlanta alone is probably going to be throwing its own competitions. I don't know anything about money. Don't ask me about that, but maybe these two can help you. But that's my opinion, and I'm just really glad to be here at the beginning to see the roots being planted.
Yeah, I definitely agree. 10 to 20 years from now, I think the right people are in place right now. Brown nosing a little bit. I think all the right people are in the right place right now, especially here in Atlanta, to get it organized. You think about an industry like, I don't know, maybe the food industry. There's organization around it. Everybody has their little niche. Everybody has their things that they're good at. I think the esports industry could be exactly like that. And within 10 to 20 years, I see it kind of settling, but into a nice, organized, machine that it's going to work really well together.
Yeah, I think you guys both pretty much nailed it. I mean, I think that the growth is going to continue. The more things like this happen, this probably wouldn't have been a thing 10 years ago, right? So, or even 5 years ago. My high school never did anything esports related, never really did anything for the kids. So I think the more that schools are understanding the correlation in esports and education, the more it'll grow, and it's going to skyrocket. It's just bound to happen. People love video games, and it's too fun not to love them. Yeah. So, and more keep coming out every 30 seconds. So it's it's infinite.
Yeah, that's a good point. And once it's in the schools, now that it's in the schools, and once it's in more schools, they're not going to want to stop doing it. They're going to go to college. They're going to go into their adult careers, and they're not going to want to stop doing what they love. So it's going to be there forever.
Yeah, it's a whole new career, and I love it. We're opening up to it, and with the metaverse, it's like video games was already in it. No one's really labeled it yet, but video games is metaverse too. Yes. Yeah, I get to go first. So she was asking, what's the benefit of having your kids join an esports team? It's just like a team. It's a little family, you know. Usually with the coach, you have to see if I mean, she's going to answer this. I'm going to try my best to go as fast as I can. But it's the synergy, right? And it's the little family. I had a soccer team in middle school up to high school, and I was in band. And without those two groups, I wouldn't be who I am today, you know. And I have a gaming community that I game with every night. We play New World, we play Call of Duty, and I've known them for 6 years now because I've been streaming that long. Like, this is my little family. Like, even if it's not competitive gameplay, it's still a group of people that you talk to or you can confide in or you grow together.
Yeah, absolutely. These kids are going to be learning skills that they're not going to learn on a soccer field. You know, when we get into our space, being able to set up those computers, being able to log into these applications, being able to stream so that their family across the United States and the world even can watch them game, even just play with their friends. I think back to when my son used to play, gosh, I don't even remember what it was now, but when my eldest was younger, it was like his friends were at our house every day because they're gaming through the system and dude, bro. But it was like his friends were at our house every day and they're learning these relationship skills and learning how to communicate with each other and learning how to strategize and learning analytics. They're learning so many things through esports that they're not going to learn on a football field. Now of course they're learning similar things, and creating that community is what I want to do with Eastside Esports League, is to make sure that they know that they have somebody they can come to talk about when life gets hard, to when they confront a bully or when they just don't feel like they're enough, that they have a community that they can talk to, because sometimes talking to parents is hard, and if they have those coaches, those adults in their life that they can reach out to and that they trust because they gamed with them, then I'll be there for that.
Yeah, I mean, I played like through school. Like, I played baseball, like I said, baseball, volleyball, and I played baseball all the way through my first 3 years of college, and I got hurt. But like, gaming was always like my like actual passion. But again, my parents didn't support it, so it was kind of one of those like, let's not talk about it type things. But like my friend Chris sitting over there, I mean, we met through Xbox, like what, 8 years ago, 7 years ago, whatever it was, and I'd never met him in person before. We went to an event together, and now he's one of my lifelong friends, right? So it's like, if I didn't have, I mean, I have friends of it, but if I didn't have Xbox and online and whatever else, I would never have met him. I have probably 30 people in my life I talk to daily and know my family, interact and go to events and travel. I'm sure the same with you as well. Like, people from California and Canada and Europe, everywhere. And I wouldn't meet them if I didn't play games competitively. Now, high schools didn't offer esports, but from my experience online, that's what kind of did it. I imagine high school would be this, or middle schools would be the same thing, just concentrated in your community.
Yeah, I was a wallflower in high school myself, and gaming was my escape. And when you escape and you meet someone there, they become your best friend, you know, so. Any other questions? Oh, Andrew.
Yeah, so your job didn't exist 10 years ago. What do you do each day? What actual things do you do at work? And how often do you having to come up with whole new solutions to whole new problems?
I'm building my job still, I think. Brand ambassador, production. I'm a one-man team right now with the support of my company, Ant Online. So for me, I struggle most days taking care of the business I work for and then myself. So I'm technically doing 2 jobs a day. So every day I wake up, I go straight into the office, I take care of business, I strategize, I plan, I contact, or stream, and then I zoom home through the Atlanta traffic to make sure I make it to my own stream on time, because consistency is important. You know, that's when people are looking for you. They'll know you'll be online, and I make sure to be there. And when I go live, everyone is there. So it's a lot of planning is, in my line of work, a lot of strategizing, a lot of just hyping people up, I feel. So between checking my social media every 2 seconds, I know they say it's unhealthy, but it's just part of my day, and I enjoy doing it. So that's mainly, I mean, I could tell you what games I play, but there's no point.
I think that last bit was the point of it, though. You enjoy doing it, and that really is the most important part. I enjoy doing it too. I work a full-time job. I do the league business work whenever I can fit it in. I make it a priority and I talk about it all the time. I was at a doctor's appointment today and the girl checking me in had a really cool tattoo that I was like, you're a gamer. I can tell you're a gamer. And we started talking about gaming and she took my card and she's going to, talk up the league with people that she knows. So it's just networking all the time and talking about it all the time and keeping it in a positive light and learning everything you can and being able to be flexible and compromise and finding all the balance in it too.
Yeah, I think I probably have a similar answer to kind of what yours was, where it's like I run my own business as well as do Ghost. Ghost is my priority most days, but I start about 10 o'clock in the morning, usually 9:30ish, and I'm probably work on and off till 10, 11 o'clock at night, whether it's on the phone, constantly networking, calling with somebody. Esports, pretty much your job every day is just solving new problems. Every day there's something that arises, you got to find a solution quickly and you got to figure it out. Same with my business, and it's just constantly managing and appeasing and showing people different ways to do things, and it's just never-ending networking and conversation.
Oh yeah, lots of networking.
Two more online questions for
Oh.
Eastside Esports.
Ooh.
You get the mic.
What games are your players playing?
Okay. Okay. The question was, what game are my kids playing? And we started out with our 8 to 12-year-olds doing Minecraft and Fortnite. I had 2 kids playing Fortnite. They got some victory royales a couple times when they were playing, so that was really exciting. And the Minecraft, my husband's helping with the business as a coach as well, and he's using the Minecraft education stuff that's out there to challenge the kids to do different things, and the first person that can do a build or whatever. And then one of the 12-year-olds came to me with a presentation on why we should also include Roblox, and she had all of her arguments ready to go, and so we started playing Roblox as well. We didn't have a coach for that, so I had to learn how to play Roblox, and I was a total noob. So but they taught me, and we did parkour challenges and things like that, try to escape out of the jail the fastest and whatnot. And then my varsity kids are playing Apex Legends. We do have interest in Rocket League, Smash Brothers, and things like that as well. But as we grow and morph into that, it kind of depends on where their interest lies, where the kids' interest lies, and also the developers and how we can play the games. That they came to me and said we want to play, Smite or something like that. I'd be like, well, we got to find out how we can do that, if we can do that, and work with high res and all the different places to make sure that that's legit. But there's lots of rules around all the different games, so I'm very aware of that and making sure that we're doing everything legitimate.
Last question for Eastside is, are you incorporating streaming?
We will, yes. We have not done that yet, but we will once we get into our space and we have access to more equipment. It's there. We're going to be at Johnson Park in Conyers, Georgia, and we will have the space and the equipment to stream. Right now, all the kids are just at home on their computers and on their PlayStations and on their Switches and whatnot. So we haven't dove into that side of it, but we will.
That's awesome. Any more questions? Ooh, I have a hand.
Yeah, I have 2 questions. I think that league that's really cool that you did that.
Thank you.
I think that's probably going to be pretty helpful for a lot of kids. First question is, what do you think the most useful way to use colleges in getting into the esports industry and getting a job or anything like that?
I wouldn't have any input. Do you?
So the question, repeat your question.
Yeah, I'm trying to find out what the best way to use college to get into esports would be.
So how to use college, your experience at college, to get into the esports industry.
Yeah,
Mhm.
I'm a media and entertainment major right now because
Mhm.
that seems most broad. I'm not, there's not like an esports major.
Yeah.
I'm trying to find a good way to use college to get into esports somehow, even though there's not like a clear major.
Yeah, I think you're doing it. I think you're in the right place. Coming to things like this, being plugged in, talking to your college professors that are doing the esports classes and the media classes, asking them where's the networking opportunities, and talking to the right people. Showing up, asking questions, putting your hand out and saying, hi, I'm so-and-so. it's nice to meet you. I would really like to work in the industry. What do you do? And just really networking, going to conferences if you can. I know they can get expensive, especially traveling to them, but DreamHack is here in Atlanta, hopefully coming back this year. Haven't heard yet, but yeah. I volunteer at DreamHack. I volunteered for 2 years before COVID hit, and I did it because my son wanted to be involved, and I said, well, I want to get behind the scenes and find out what that means. So I volunteered at DreamHack. You get to go for free. You get behind the scenes. You get to talk to people. And so doing things like that will really get you in the right place, and one day you'll get that job offer.
Yeah. Yeah, I did the same thing. I volunteered DreamHack Indie Stage.
Yeah.
And that's what got me camera experience, being in front of a camera and being able to talk. So you really just have to reach out to the individuals in the line of work you're really into, you know? So if you're into media, you want to find someone like Nate back there who also is into media and be like, yo, bro, what's up?
Yeah.
You know, and start that.
The other question, if y'all care about it, I was thinking, what do y'all think about the possibility of like VR esports? Do you think that's possible?
He's asking if VR esports will be a thing. It's the metaverse. Of course, I don't know yet. It really depends. I mean, if a school, if a group, if a hub decided to put together it and everyone thought it was fun to watch, that's esports.
Yeah. Yeah, I definitely think virtual reality games could become competitive for sure. I feel like they would work a lot the same way. You would stream it, and people wouldn't necessarily. You would be playing in virtual reality, but you would be, you know, everybody would see your gameplay, so it would look the same.
I think it already exists. Like, I think people are already competing at a level with virtual games. I know these guys are big about it. They had talked to me for about 20 minutes, 15 minutes earlier. But no, I do know there are some people. I don't think it's like as organized like Counter-Strike or Valorant or something on the lines of that. But it's definitely there, at least at a community level. And every esport that starts at a community level that builds fandom, like a Smite, for example, it was a mass, like it wasn't the largest game, but it had an insane dedicated community to it, and they fell in love in like every aspect of it. I think VR will probably fit that same mold, where it'll be a very dedicated, semi-casual-ish community until it reaches a point where it turns into a hyper-competitive space. But anything that rushes into a hyper-competitive space usually doesn't work too great. So if VR wants to live, they should start grassroots and really community build first before they go crazy.
Yeah, if that's something you want to do, then do it. Start it. Get your friends together. Stream it. Make it happen.
Atlanta actually is a big hub for iRacing, and they use VR headsets to practice. Any others? I like how I say that. Anyone? Yay?
Is that VR racing, is that for drones or is that gaming? Doesn't they have VR drones?
That'd be cool, but no, it's for gaming. Most of the iRacing community, they have like rigs and they practice, and all the tracks are almost exactly the same. They're like 0.99 off, but like exactly the same as the racetracks. And so what they're doing is they're actually practicing simulations.
Nice.
Yay, I think that's it.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, chat. You guys are amazing.